Torenia, also known as wishbone flower. Pelleted seeds Torenia I use for this video. I sow Torenia seeds by broadcasting them evenly across the soil surface. Please keep soil moist until seeds germinate. In cool climate, you could start Torenia indoors. And plant them outside after your last spring frost has passed. For me, optimal temperature for Torenia germination is 22 degrees Celsius. Torenia seeds start to germinate. This is what Torenia cotyledon look like. More Torenia seeds start to germinate. In this video, I use about 10 Torenia pelleted seeds. For me, Torenia seed usually germinate between day 7 to day 14. It seems my seeds' germination for this time are about 100%. I use pelleted seeds for this video. Pelleted seeds are simply normal plant seeds that have been coated for easier handling tiny seeds. Torenia seeds need light to germinate. When propagate Torenia using seeds, it is common to have some seeds fail to germinate. For me, Torenia success germination rate depend on seed age, seeds quality, humidity, light, and temperature. For me, on average Torenia seed viability are about 1 year. Seed viability is greatly affected by its quality at the time of collection, its treatment between collection, storage, and the conditions in which it is stored. For me, optimal temperature range for growing Torenia 22 to 30 degrees Celsius. For nighttime temperature range for growing Torenia is 18 to 22 degrees Celsius. My minimum temperature when growing Torenia is 23 degrees Celsius. My maximum temperature when growing Torenia is 32 degrees Celsius. My average humidity when growing Torenia are about 86%. Torenia preferred to grow in subtropical, monsoonal climate zone. Torenia true leaf start to emerge. Torenia hardiness zones 2 to 11 USDA. I grow my Torenia in tropical climate. Torenia lifespan are annual. Torenia is a genus of plants now classified in the family Lindorniaceae. Torenia has also been classified in the figwort family Scrophulariaceae. Torenia can be propagated by seeds or stem cutting. Soil I use for growing Torenia contain cocoa peat, red burn soil, micro, fine sand, old humus, and charcoal. You can use whatever growing media available to your convenience. As long as you use well-drained soil to grow Torenia, you will be fine. Also, if you can, please make sure that your growing media are sterilized and clean. By choosing sterilized and clean growing media, we'll minimize new seedlings from becoming infected from disease-causing pathogens. Soil pH for growing Torenia: 6 to 6.5 pH. My soil pH, when I try to grow Torenia, are about 7 pH. Torenia prefer to grow in full sun. Torenia need at least 6 hours of sun to thrive. Torenia also can be grown in partial shade location. If you're growing Torenia in partial shade location, your plant may not flower profusely compared to full sun growing Torenia. In my climate, I grow my Torenia in full sun location. For me, if my growing temperature greater than 30 degrees Celsius, I need to protect my plant from direct sunlight. Torenia even can perform well in 35 degrees Celsius temperatures if kept moist and out of direct sunlight. Container size I use for growing Torenia: height 22 centimeters, width 29 centimeters. You also can grow Torenia in bigger container than mine. The bigger the container, the bigger root system will develop and will resulting bigger plant. If grow Torenia in the garden, space plants around 20 centimeters to 23 centimeters apart. Torenia mature size: height 15 to 30 centimeters, width 15 to 23 centimeters. When growing Torenia, please make sure your container have good drainage. Waterlogged container will promote root rot. For me, the advantage for growing in container is gives me more control over sunlight, moisture, and temperature. Torenia is typically grown as a landscape use for borders, beds, as well as container planting. If grow in the garden, plant them closely together about 15 centimeters apart for best effect. For growing in container, you can plant 1 Torenia per gallon. If you grow Torenia like me, cram 10 plant in small container can be susceptible to powdery mildew. For this growing season, on average my water usage are about 400 milliliters. In my climate, I water my Torenia only when the top soil a little bit dry. Time I water my Torenia is between 7 to 8 in the morning. Water usage depend on container size, container type, weather, and climate you live in. Your water usage may be different than me. Torenia water preference are moderate watering. For me, it is easier to overwater than underwater. Overwatering will promote root rot. Always water Torenia at the root zone, never overhead. Water your plant. Also, if you can, please avoid watering Torenia in the evening. I use fertilizer on my Torenia every 4 weeks. Time I fertilize my Torenia at 7 to 8 in the morning. You can use whatever fertilizer available to your convenience. Please don't overfeed the plant. Some signs of overfertilization are defoliation, very slow or no growth, yellowing and wilting of lower leaf and browning leaf tips. Please read and follow the instructions carefully before starting using any fertilizers. For me, Torenia require moderate fertilization. If your container have some weeds grow in it, you need to do some weeds control. Weeds control is done to limit weeds infestations and minimize competition between Torenia and weeds. Weeds compete with Torenia for water, nutrients, space, and light. My favorite method for controlling weeds is pulling out the weeds by hands. By doing this early in the growing season, it will reduce the time required for hand weeding later in the season. When you're doing weeds control, your Torenia will thank you by producing more flowers. Some pests you may encounter when trying to grow Torenia: spider mites, leafhoppers, thrips, and aphids. Some disease you may encounter when trying to grow Torenia: powdery mildew, root rots, root knot, nematodes, and botrytis. When I growing my Torenia, I didn't use herbicide. When I growing my Torenia, I didn't use pesticide. Most disease-infected Torenia can be avoided by providing good air circulation and keep soil from soggy condition. Torenia flower buds start to develop. Torenia flower are trumpet-shaped, with partially fused petals. Soil temperature taken in the evening. Torenia flowers are born on terminal clusters above the foliage. More Torenia flower buds start to develop. Torenia stems are glabrous, meaning no hairs. Torenia flower are bisexual flowers. Bisexual flowers contain both male and female reproductive organs in the same flower. On the other hand, unisexual flowers contain male and female reproductive organs in separate flowers. My Torenia flower will bloom soon. First bloom of this season. Purple Torenia flower. Torenia does not require deadheading. Pinch the stem tips to promote bushiness. Pinching not only will the plant get bushier, but you also get additional flowers from the process. Blue Torenia flower emerge. Torenia are deer-resistant plant. Torenia can attract hummingbirds to your garden. Torenia common name are wishbone flower, bluewings. The wishbone name come from the stamens. Wishes unite at the anthers in the shape which resembles chicken wishbone. Torenia binomial name are Torenia fournieri, Lin den x e forn. Torenia flowers are native to Southeast Asia and Africa. Torenia colors can range from white with yellow throats to violet, blue, cobalt, lavender, and purple. The genus Torenia is named after Reverend Olaf Toren, an 18th-century chaplain in India, Surat, and China to the Swedish East India Company. Torenia easy to grow, low to maintenance, and everyone who love flower should try to grow them. Thank you for watching.